Voters here aren't just deciding who will take over at the White House. Several state and local races are also on the ballot.
Voters in 2 Triad counties will decide between a pair of first-time General Assembly candidates this election cycle. WXI 12's Kelly Kendall brings us into the race for Senate District 31.
Candidates in Senate District 31 hope to go from jobs in education to a job in legislation. Voters in parts of Forsyth and Stokes County will decide who gets it. Senate District 31 has changed over the years, but one thing hasn't. Joyce Kravic. The Republican senator has held her seat for a decade. Now she's passing the baton to another woman, and this race is about who that woman will be.
I am Rhonda Mays.
Dana Caudle-Jones.
Democrat and school social worker Rhonda Mays has never held public office, but says she has been elected.
I've been elected by educators to serve, like I said, as president of Forsyth County Association of Educators, but then as the National Education Association director.
Republican Dana Caudle-Jones runs her family's electrical business in Kernersville, but she too has worked in education.
I served 10 years on the town council in Kernersville, dealing with budgets and zoning and grants, and also 8 years on the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Board of Education.
So we asked them about their visions for North Carolina schools. Both say they want to increase salaries for educators, but have different ideas on paying for it.
One of the ways is stop with all of this opportunity scholarships and paying, giving money to private schools.
I support the opportunity scholarships. We have a strong economy in North Carolina, and actually the General Assembly has a surplus, right, of funding right now. So I don't see that it's not pitting opportunity scholarships against teacher salaries. I believe we can continue to increase teacher salaries.
I appreciate people making a choice to send their children to private schools, but our Constitution says that we are supposed to pay for or provide, let me use proper terminology, provide a basic education for all of our children here in North Carolina.
The health care around having children is another issue the two disagree on. Last year, the General Assembly passed legislation making having an abortion illegal after the 12th week of pregnancy, with some exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. Is that acceptable to you? And if not, what would you like to see change there?
I believe that the current legislation for abortion in North Carolina is reasonable at the 12 weeks.
I definitely would want to see that changed because of the fact that it is not a lawmaker's responsibility to dictate what is best for a woman's body.
Mays is also looking for change on gun control.
I would want to make certain that we have laws in place to keep our guns out of the hands of individuals who don't need them. And, you know, these assault rifles and or machinery should not be in the hands of any civilian, regular civilian.
For Caudle-Jones, it's not the guns that need changing.
Not something that's right on my radar right now. I think what we need to talk about is probably some mental health issues that we see in our society. The gun does not fire itself.
There was some agreement on housing. They say there needs to be more of it for cheaper.
We need some legislation in place to help with, making certain we have some quality, affordable housing, looking at a living wage for people so that they can be able to pay their own way.
Housing is not affordable a lot of times due to very burdensome regulations that we have on the builder. And so can we dial some of that back to where we can make things more affordable to the end user?
Both also say they are the best choice to become District 31's new face.
And really and truly, it's all about service. It's really about giving back to a community that I love and that has been good to us.
I'm the people's candidate. I am the one who will listen to the needs of the people. And I'm not talking about what I will do. That's what I've been doing.
In both conversations, I asked the women why they are the better candidate than their opponent. Notably, neither took aim at the other. This race is not necessarily competitive. This district tends to lean Republican, but it is only one of a handful of state Senate races where the incumbent senator is not seeking re-election. In Forsyth County, I'm Kelly Kendall, WXII 12 News.